Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Sports Wave Network and Sports Corner with the Conn Man. I am your host, the Conn Man. And with me this afternoon, I have with me a very special guest. He goes by the name of Isaiah Spencer. How you doing, Isaiah?
I'm good. I'm very good. How are you doing?
I'm good. You know what? Isaiah, what I like to do with my guests is I usually have them talk about their journey, their grind. So can you let the viewers know a little bit about your background, your history?
For sure. Yeah, again, my name's Isaiah. I've grown up in New Bedford. I've lived in New Bedford pretty much my whole life up until college, but grew up started out in a private school, in elementary school, and then transitioned into public school, um, and then eventually went into a charter school. So I've been through the whole education system in New Bedford. It feels like. But I've also done local sports. I've played a lot of basketball. Played for the Boys and Girls Club, YMCA, and CYO. So basketball is my sport and something I enjoy. So I did a lot of that, a little bit of soccer as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and again, charter school up until high school, and then I had went into college. I went to Brown University, studied geology at that time, and a little bit different. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, but it's a little different. And so did that. I loved it. Loved Brown. It was a great experience, and then transitioned into a few jobs. Went to the public health sector, and then went into school. And now going to be doing a little bit of a different thing now. Starting a new job in the new year. That's a little bit about me to sum myself up.
Now, folks, I think it's congratulations are needed. Can you tell folks the new job that you're going to be starting in January?
Absolutely. The title of the position is called GIS specialist. If you don't know, viewers, you don't know what GIS is, it stands for Geographic Information Systems. And in short, it's all it is. It's mapping and data. It's like a data analyst, but more like location science and looking at it. Particularly, what I would be doing is I'd be working with a civil engineering consultant firm and be working with certain signage and road signs, lights, and kind of construction zones, all that type of thing, and would be using specific software to kind of enhance these certain systems. In a nutshell, that's kind of what I'd be doing.
I tell you what, you said a whole lot. You're above my pay grade. Let me tell you real quick. You are way above my pay grade. Now, let the viewers know what got you into far as because I've seen a couple of your shows, and what got you interested in podcasting first of all, and then why did you choose sports, and how did you go about starting your first interaction into the world of podcasting?
For sure. Me and my friend Eric couldn't make it today. He's out of town, but we started a podcast last year called the Barely Friends podcast.
Hmm.
And I think the main motivation for us was kind of simple. We just liked basketball. It's a Celtics podcast mainly, but it's primarily NBA. We'll talk about other news in the NBA and what's going on.
Okay.
But we just love basketball, and so we just kind of wanted to start something new. So last year we did it just on a platform called Substack, which is just the audio streaming service. And so it was easy to just upload, and we kind of weren't super tech savvy at the time, so we used that and we learned from there. That's what we did first, Substack, and then we transitioned this year into having a studio. It was pretty quick transition. We didn't expect to have a studio, but we partnered with New Bedford Cable Access, and so we have a partnership there. We use their studio, so it's been great being able to do that. And we're just we're trying to be ourselves and trying to be unique in that sense. But we're just talking sports, being ourselves, and that's kind of what our podcast is. So it's been a fun journey. Pretty much halfway into the second season, into the NBA season, with the All Star break coming soon. So it's been good. It's been a good journey.
You know what? What's great about having you on my show is the fact that you're kind of a younger breed. I'm OG. I'm old school. So it's good to get a different perspective on how you guys feel because your take on the landscape of the NBA. Because I usually have older generations on my show, but having someone such as yourself, maybe our viewers can get a different perspective instead of hearing my big mouth all the time. So they'll get a different idea exactly what is coming from someone younger than myself. Okay, so what? I'm not. I don't want to make this like an interview because I just want to just kick it. You know what I mean? So I don't want to throw
Sure.
any. But anyway, what is your landscape feelings about the NBA the way it is presently today?
Yeah, yeah, that's a great question. It's funny because there there have been talks. I watch like a lot of ESPN, a lot of just sports talk shows, and other podcasts. And one of the things that has been a trend in talking about has been the three pointer, the three
Uh,
point shot, and
yes.
and
Okay.
and how I, overcompensated it is, or how much teams are now trying to use that as a like. I mean, the best example is the Celtics, right? And how last year they won and they were shooting threes like crazy, like making history. But now it seems I think from gauging with the articles a little bit and looking at what these talk show hosts were saying is, I think it's diluting the game a little bit, in terms of it sometimes just looks like players who are super talented and who are just have all these skill sets are just shooting threes, and it's just like they're throwing it up there, and to like some fans eyes it's like it's not that entertaining, it's not that it doesn't have that eye candy, where you have more all around, you're posting up, you're taking jump shots, you're going to the hoop. It's so a lot of some changes were talked about moving the three backwards, and some other things. So for me personally, I think I still of course enjoy the NBA. There's so many talented players at the highest level. I mean, it's like I was watching on Christmas Day Victor Wembanyama on the
Mm-hmm.
Spurs, and it's just jaw dropping what he can do. So you have that talent, but then in terms of just basketball, I wish it were a little more all around, and I wish that these players' skills would be more utilized all around because they have the ability. But I think with this 3 point shot, I think it's getting overblown a little bit. So that's my kind of take on today's game.
Now let me tell you my take. My take,
Okay.
because I'm always dirt. Um, I remember when the game, the way it used to be played, it was in the paint, and then you brought the ball out. Now it's you bring the ball, stop with the ball out, then you bring it in.
Right.
Maybe I like because the way we when we grew up is the physical play. Right now they're taking away the physical play uh, with the hand check. I don't really agree with the hand check too much about that. But anyway, my take is that the NBA has softened up because you got guys shaking hands, giving dap all before the game, and then going out signing sneaker contracts with each other. No, 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 no,
Right.
no. We go out there after the game. We can go out. We can shake hands. We can do whatever. Up until then, no, we going to war. That's me. And I hate. I mean, it's good, I guess, in today's game, but in my eyes, you got to go out there. You got to because if you're shaking somebody's hand before the game, you're not as intense. You got to get that intensity and bring it out. And me being the OG that I am, I used to take on that challenge. I wanted to go out there and do what I had to do. And the way the
Right.
NBA is now, I think it's soft. I think, again, you mentioned the 3-point shot. I agree with that 100%. Uh, Load management. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But
Yep. Yep.
as far as the 3-point shot is concerned, let me tell you something. If you shoot 9 times and you miss, wouldn't that give you an indication that maybe you shouldn't be shooting 3-point shots?
Yep. Yep.
And that's one thing. And to me, like you said, it's watered down the game. The game is not as, I don't know. It's kind of, but maybe I have to adjust because you got a 7'5" guy shooting damn near the half court. You know what I mean? To me, it don't look right. But then again, I have to adjust with the times. But I just like to back, because I go back to Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell, and then Akeem Olajuwon and Shaquille O'Neal. I mean, those guys. That's what the NBA, in my mind, is what the game should be. But because of the Steph Curry influence, it has definitely made a major impact. Before I go into what I really want to go into, which is now what you think about load management?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not a huge fan. I'm not a huge fan. Bringing up a couple examples.
Okay.
Joel Embiid is one that comes to mind, especially this year. I think Kawhi Leonard would be another good example of load management. I think it depends on context, right? If for instance, if you're at the end of an NBA season, if you're at the end of the season and you've already clinched the playoffs, or you're a top 3 seed, and you're just trying to rest your players to get them healthy for the playoffs, okay, I can live with that. But if it's beginning of the season, middle of the season, and there's not like like Kawhi and Joel both have they're both injury prone. They both had significant injuries, but at the same time, they're getting paid all this money, and it's just like fans want to see these star players, and on an organization's perspective, like they want to see their guys too, but they want to see them fully healthy. So I think it depends on context, but for um all-star players, and for because I don't have a large much of a perspective on Wilt Chamberlain and players that I didn't watch, unfortunately. But I don't think there was much load management back then, right? I think players were playing significant amount from my understanding. I could be wrong, but I think it's context. I don't want to say that load management in and of itself is bad, but I think I think it depends on the situation.
And Isaiah, you know, what really irritates me is, again, I was telling you, I'm from the old school and the way they used to play. And nowadays, I mean, they happened back in the day as well. So I'm not saying it's just now. But the thing that irritates me probably the most, as I told you how physical the play was back in the day. I mean, there was times I can name names and all that when people got punched in the game and didn't even get kicked out. But anyway, times have changed. I realized that. And I'm going to mention one of your guys on your Boston Celtics, who I don't like, by the way.
Sure.
But anyway, what I do not like, and I think it takes away the game from me, and I think it carries on to the youth. Now I'll explain my thought process. You got guys like Jason Tatum, Luka Doncic, whatever his name is. You got Luka and you got Tatum. And you got Embiid and LeBron. These guys make 50, 55 million a year, whatever. And they're going to come. Now, I'm a referee, so now you know where I'm going with this. I'm a referee. And to see these guys complain over little taps, little body, I can't. It drives me nuts. Everything, your boy Tatum, not only one, Luka, to me, it takes away from the. When I watch the game now, I'm like, I can't tell you what I'm because I can't say it on air. But when I'm looking at the game, I'm like, what is? I just can't get. And B gets injured in a warm-up line. I just don't.
Yep.
Give me your take. Give me your take on that.
Oh yeah, I hate it. I hate it. You know, it reminds me of I'm gonna bring soccer into this a little bit. I
Okay.
hope this analogy makes sense. Um, it reminds me of flopping in soccer now, particularly in men's soccer, less so in women's, particularly in men's soccer, where it's these little like it's not it's this isn't about refs, but it's just when there is little contact and players just fall down and then they stay down and it's it dilutes the game. No one wants to watch that. It's just it's not great. I feel like the same thing with complaining to the ref when it's over and over and over. It's not like it's in tight. It's not like it's always in tight games where it's like, all right, this is like this call cost me the game. Or it's in a playoff game or a championship with higher stakes. It's it's every game, and like these players' ages. I'm around these players' ages. I've heard from people, like, is it a generational thing, right? Is it a generational? Is it, I don't know, but it's watching it live is very unfortunate, and you just takes away, like you said, it takes away from the game. It takes away from these players who are super talented, and the next day we're talking about them complaining about this ticky tacky foul, and instead of actual basketball. So I agree 100%. I agree 100%.
And then, well, which I'm gonna bring it back towards now the youth. As I told you, I'm a referee. I referee all over the place. And when I get to a game, I get there early. And what I see is kids coming to the court and shooting 3-pointers instead of maybe shooting a 2-pointer and then work your way up, like most people do, is if they've been taught well, is you start from the beginning, get you loose, then you get your bearings, and you go back and back. And I see these kids throwing up threes. That's the big thing, and don't even know how to do a two. And I think what's lacking. I don't know. Have you had much opportunity to see the youth play a lot? Have you, by any chance? You watch them?
Recently, I honestly haven't. I before this last year, I was working at a private school, and it was an all girls school, so I was helping after school with basketball in that sense. But I haven't seen youth basketball in a little bit. It feels like now that I'm thinking about it.
The reason why I bring that up, Isaiah, is because what I see right now, going into 2025, is the lack of fundamentals. And I am a constant, I guess you can be observer, and I really would love, but I'm not a coach, I'm a referee. But anyway, I see that the kids are not being developed properly as far as the fundamentals are concerned, and that's going to take away the ability to improve. And and now I see I want to pick your brain, but then I don't know if you have any not so much knowledge, but any experience with AAU. Know anything about AAU at all?
So a little bit. I never played AAU. My brother actually played a little AAU when he was, I don't know, 10, 11. So he played a little bit of. Now let me think. I think he played. He definitely played. He played AAU basketball for at least a year.
Okay.
But I haven't. I never played, so I haven't had that perspective.
The reason why I'm bringing that up, Isaiah, is the fact that I am not so much totally against AAU, but in a way I am. Because a
Okay.
lot of around here, unless you're at that upper level, what tends to happen is the parents are paying all this money for their child to play. And then sometimes the parents are they're living their dreams through their kids, whether it be a daughter or son. And I think that takes away number one. Number two, you got these AU kids playing so many games during the course of a weekend. And if anybody knows anything, you don't improve during AU games. You you don't really improve during practice. You improve individually, doing your skills by yourself. That's when you improve.
Right.
But anyway, so I have a problem with that. Um, what I want to now, I want to get back because I got you on here for an hour, so I'm trying to pick your brain. I
Oh
have
yeah,
no.
let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay, all right. Now up to your level. Now we'll go to the collegiate. What is your take on the NIL and the transfer portal? I want to get your take. You being a youngin, I want what your view on that.
Sure, sure. With my limited knowledge, I will say, the main thing it is has changed the game. It has changed um, college football, college basketball. It has changed in the sense of now players have a lot of power and a lot of say to where they want to go, and now it's enticing because of the money. So it's yeah, I don't again, I'm thinking just about who I've watched and who I've listened to who have more much more knowledge than I do.
Mhm.
More of the take is that people are not a fan of this format for the most part, and but yeah, I mean, for the players, it's great in their eyes because they're getting paid, and it's nice and to have money in their pockets. But for the game, I don't know. I don't know if it's more helpful for the game. That is something, and it's early. I will say it's early. I think give it a little time and see if there'll be adjustments and see if there'll be more regulations and stuff like that. But I think right now, you know, I'll say give it some time, but it's a little tricky. It's a little dicey. I would say right now.
And you brought up the point that I was gonna, right now there's gonna be some restrictions on the amount. I think maybe you could be put in escrow because you got Dion's son football wise
Yep.
5 million, and then the wide receiver making 7 million, and they're buying houses for their parents, and they're in college. It's unfathomable to me, but I guess these are the times. That's why I kind of wanted you on the show because to get your point of view. To me, I think the player should get paid. I think it's been the coach has been doing it for years. What is your take on the transfer portal?
Yeah. I think it's a little out of hand from what I've seen from again I kind of see it more in college football than in college basketball. I just see more news about it, but it just seems like it's like out of control free agency. It seems like it just like the commitment is hard now. I think commitment is hard now for like someone president or GM or coach of a school. Like it's going to be hard to have someone commit there for 4 years now with this transfer portal. So um, I think again it gives freedom, it gives luxury to these students, and that may be all fine and dandy. But I think for college football or for college sports as a whole, um, I think again, give it some time, and I think there needs to be some reworking and some restructuring around the portal. But I would say right now it's a little out of control.
And I agree with you. And the fact is, especially now, you got players playing for the back of the shirt instead of the front of the shirt.
Yep.
And
Yep.
if I'm not getting the ball enough, that gives me reason to leave. Or if I don't like the coach, that gives me reason to leave. Any little thing, I'm out. I want to go. And I think
Right.
that takes away from, first of all, it takes away from the team concept. And I think that it takes away from the rivalries. It takes away, because we used to always look more, I'm from the Big East. point of view. The biggest, you always look for, the rivalries, and you kind of knew what every player on every team, because they didn't transfer, although they didn't have NIL. I understand that, but the way
Right.
it is right now, I think same thing with the NIL. They got to get a hold of everything, because it's got. I think they went to do it without looking at all the ramifications. But like you said, they're going to have to make adjustments. I think if they do that, I think it's going to be a little bit better, because if you notice, football as well, a lot of the old time coaches are leaving. If you notice, because they don't want to deal with the NIL, they don't want to deal with that nonsense. The
Right.
boosters, they don't want to deal with that. And then you got people being hired specifically to be responsible for NIL. I,
Yep.
this is where I guess sports are coming to. Now you know what? Now I've asked you questions. Are there any questions you want to ask me?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, I can. It's funny. I feel like you look familiar when I was just on your Facebook
Careful.
page, but I don't. I don't. Did you ever referee CYO back
Uh,
in? Okay. Okay, because I played CYO, I don't know, when I was maybe around 10, 11, for St. Julie's. And so, I guess your take, I guess I'll ask you, what's your take, or your perspective as a referee, being a referee for some time, and I guess how long have you been a referee for? And yeah, how's that been?
over 40 years.
Okay, wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
So I mean, you must enjoy it then. I mean, that's
I well, you know what happened is, I played in high school. I played in college. I played for 35 and over. And when you're playing, you know, it gives you that burst, that excitement. And I kind of missed that playing. So I had to get something to try to, you know, fulfill that same desire. And I have one of my best friends in the world, is Eric Brittle. I don't know if you know who that is, but Eric Brittle went on to become an NBA referee. And what
okay.
he did was I ended up getting a guy by the name of Michael Grant involved in officiating. And what that did is it opened up a big sea of referees now that we have, which started from them. And I have to give a great debt of gratitude for them, because they got a lot of us. But who wants to referee? We didn't think about it. You're younger, you can make some money while you're in school, and you still remain part of the game.
Right.
Yeah, I've been for 40 years. Um, I've been fortunate to referee high school, little bit of junior college as well. And, I've been able, because of my refereeing friends, I've been able to see a lot of things that a lot of people haven't seen, like the famous Rucker. I don't know if you know anything about the Rucker. I've been there in New York City. I've
Okay.
um, I've watched Eric, my man, referee pro-ams in New York City, and here in New Bedford, we have one of the best shootouts going on. I've been down there refereeing and broadcasting and book and the clock for like over 40 years at Money Park. And right now, what I'm doing right now, which I'm involved with now, this past summer made 30 years at the Burgo Basketball Association in South Dartmouth. And
Okay.
that's great, because we service over 1,000 kids. So when I talk about the youth, that's why I wanted to bring it up with you, because we service over 1,000 kids, and I referee 4 nights a week, 4 games a night, and you get to see the parents, the grandparents, you get to see a whole different, but yeah, to answer your question, I love it. I've been doing it, and I'm looking forward to this year again as well.
That's great. That's great. I actually I refereed one year. It was not for basketball. It was for flag football.
Okay,
In down in there was a league at Bunwood Park,
okay,
and I also got the perspective of parents and just like the crowd, and I just have a ton of respect for refs. Like in all honesty, I just when especially because I watch professional sports for the most part now, and just people fans heckling and players heckling, coaches heckling, and people gotta understand they're doing their best. That's their job, and refs aren't robots. They're not, right? Like they're gonna make mistakes, but like at the same time, they make a lot of good calls. They make a lot of right calls. So I give a lot of respect to referees. And yeah, I mean, 40 years. I mean, that's uh, yeah, I give a lot of respect to you for continuing to do that. So
We
um,
got great role models who have refereed longer than I have, and I would dedicate gratitude to them because they led the way. Without them, there'd be no me. It's about refereeing and
mhm.
becoming an official, and which led into broadcasting for UMass Dominance, and it opened up a lot of doors for me. And I owe a debt of gratitude. It's all because of basketball. So I owe a debt of gratitude to all those people who came before me as well. Now you being a young man, and first of all, I gotta say you are gonna be all right with your podcast. You can conduct yourself very well. You speak very clear. Y'all gonna be all right. Y'all gonna be fine. I ain't even worried about it. You got
Thank
this
you.
covered.
Thank
But now let's talk about now. Before we get into the NBA, and we can discuss that a little bit. What do you want to? Because right now you got a new job beginning in January, and don't even ask me to pronounce it because I ain't all that. But I mean, you got a new job coming in. Is that going to take away from you doing your podcast?
Yeah, that's a great question. I already talked to Eric, my friend, and
Yeah.
I told him there are going to be some adjustments that are going to have to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for instance, so this job would be based out of Rhode Island,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm living in New Bedford right now, so I would be commuting, and we record usually on Tuesdays,
Okay.
so, and we usually record around like 3:45, 4 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
I will not be home now to record then. So we've already talked about we'll probably be starting to record on Saturdays on the weekends,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's going to be a main adjustment. We try to have a lot of social media posts, a lot of reels, or just try to engage our audience in that sense. Um, there is going to have to be some adjustments made there as well. I had a lot of time on my hands, so I could look up things. I could do some research. I could make all these posts, and it's I had to learn some things. It's not necessarily super difficult, but it's time consuming. So now I won't have much time. So it'll be an adjustment. I think we're gonna be okay. I think it just we're gonna have conversations and figure out ways to manage this difference. And so maybe adding some load to him, as we're we're barely friends, but we can still give him some tasks to do, help out that sense. So but in all seriousness, I think just being able to see what needs are, what adjustments are going to have to be made, and then go from there. But I think we're going to be okay.
You know what? I think you're going to be just fine. But now let the viewers know about your show. Let them know. Give them some information because I got a pretty good platform right here now. So I'm letting you be able to promote your show, promote your partner. I'm giving you got the floor.
Yeah, appreciate it. And we're gonna promote you guys as well. The comment we're gonna so mutual here. But yeah, so our title again is the Barely Friends podcast. And it's not spelled typically like barely friends. It's spelled like a grizzly bear. That's how you like the animal. And the reason why it's spelled like that is because I went to Brown University, like I said, and
Uh,
their mascot is a bear, is a bear. So, and then my friend, he went to Bridgewater State University, and their mascot is a bear. So
Yeah.
that's kind of how, along with some help from my barber, we kind of had that collab, and we made that our name. Um, so Barely Friends, we're primarily on YouTube. So you can find us on YouTube. Just type in Barely Friends podcast, and you should be able to find us. You can even search us at Barely dash Friends dash 18, and I think that'll also get you there on YouTube. And we also have a Facebook page where we'll post those videos, but we'll also post other content. We'll share Celtics posts and share our thoughts and reels. So those are our two platforms. Again, Barely Friends podcast.
Outstanding. Wow. Uh, I'm proud of you, man, for what you're doing. It's the first time I met you. I am so impressed because you're going to take this very far. I can tell. I have a gift of knowing, and any help that the network can be, you got us. Anytime you guys want to come on, you let me know, and it's a wrap. Is there anything else you want to ask me before we get into delve into this NBA?
Yeah, I guess one other thing that came to mind. What connections have you made through refereeing? Whether it's players or coaches. Like
Uh,
who have you met, and
ooh,
experiences, etc.
well, as a player, I got to play against Dr. J, and
Wow.
yes, and they Archibald, yes. Here in New Bedford, by the way, at New Bedford High,
Wow.
1970.
Okay.
Yes, that was off the hook. But wow, that's a deep question. So many. Reggie Williams who played for Georgetown, Gene Smith, captain of Georgetown, Tony Brown who played at Syracuse. I'm thinking about people that you might be too young. A lot of Pat Ewing, remember him?
Okay. Yep. Yep.
Yes, I played against him not when he was a sophomore, when I was a senior. But wow, I mean, my best friend is Dave Lato, who uh, started off playing at Holy Family. He then went on to Northeastern, played for Jim Calhoun, and then after 1 year after graduating, was making $5 an hour. He was in the shower, and Coach Calhoun called him and asked him if he wanted to be an assistant coach. Dave said sure, and needless to say, Dave coached with Calhoun for like 17 years.
Okay.
Dave was responsible for recruiting guys like maybe Reggie Lewis. You ever heard of him? Reggie
Yep.
Lewis.
Yep.
On and on. Anyway, then he went on to UConn with Coach Calhoun, and where he recruited guys like Ray Allen. And
Okay.
then if you go in his office, you will see all the players he recruited. All of them. I can get them all pictured in the office. And then I'll tell you one quick story. This will tell you right here. So my friend Eric Brittle at the time, before he went to the NBA, he had a referee a game in Connecticut, CBA. So we stopped off in Connecticut to go see Dave. So we go in there, we see Dave, we kick it for a little while. We, touching base for a while. And then Eric said, okay, Mike, I got to go do my game. You're going to come with me. Dave said, nah, keep him here with me. Check this out. You're not going to believe it. He said, I said, okay. Now, Eric does his game. They said, come on with me. I go in his car, and we drive in Connecticut. I don't know where we are, where we're going. We pull up, there's a gate, and the gate opens up. Drive through I don't have no clue. So we go in, and he rings the bell. Big house, all white, big house. Rings the bell, opens the door. Guess who it was? Ray Allen's mother. It was Ray
Wow.
Allen's. So I can barely, I can't even speak now.
Right.
So anyway, I go in there, we see it, and I was like in awe. Now this is his very first. He was a rookie, and he was playing his rookie year. That's why he wasn't there. So we ended up going there, and then sat down, talked for a while, And then she said, "You want to come take a tour to the house?" So we went and took a tour. Went downstairs, and then when you get downstairs, you see it was like a museum. All Ray Allen from his high school days, all his high school clippings, all his and NCAA trophies, the Player of the Year. It was like a mausoleum, and it was like that was one. I guess some I can go on. That'll take me all day. It's just so many. That's a good. You got me on that one. I didn't expect you to ask me. But as far as refereeing is concerned, um, Lee Jones, who was the head of the NBA referees, when I went with Eric to New York, sat side by side with Eric, dad, Peter Brill, who passed away, God bless his soul, and Lee Jones, who was the head of all the referees. And this is what people don't know. When I was sitting in the stands with him and Eric's refereeing, and I'm thinking Eric's doing Mike Jackson, matter of fact, because it was a pro-am, he was playing in this specific game. And I'm sitting next to Lee Jones, and he's telling Eric's father he should be moving about a couple of inches to the right. I'm sitting there now. I wasn't really refereeing that. And he's like, "You got to move a couple. He should be over there. He should be over there." I said, "What?" I mean, meticulous. And then I also learned a lot about the referees because after every game, the referees get a tape. And then the head of the referee, they assign somebody, they meet you in your hotel, and they go over every play.
Right.
People
right.
so hot referees, but they have no idea, no concept. But this show ain't about me; it's about you. So I want you to get your. They all know me over here. They know I got a big mouth. But and what's good about it is that luckily being part of this network, it's all over the place. And if you get into this business like I have, you get to meet a lot of great podcasters, and they're great people, and from all over LA. They all have their own great podcasts, and I'm friends with damn near everybody in the. I've been on all their shows. They've been on mine, and it's like a good, like a community. And these guys are so good, and they're very helpful. And so, if you ever want to get involved with what we do, please feel free because it's just really, really good, and I'm enjoying. I'm having a blast, and it's good seeing podcasters who are doing well, and some who may not be doing well. It don't matter because they do it because they love doing it. Right. You know what I mean? And I'm not making a dime, so I'm not worried about that. I'm not doing this for any money. I do it because I get to have people like you on my show. I get to go and get different guests on my show. You got like Kermit Washington was on my show. I'm trying to get who I got guests lined up coming in. And another thing I like to do as well is I also recognize a lot of local people, and that really inspires me too because I give recognition from the people in New Bedford where I came from, and my network. They say, "Hey, you like to look out for this community," which I do. But I also I'm all over. I mean, I've had Paul McKeskey, who was played for Milwaukee Bucks. I've had Corey Everson, Chuck Everson, who is the played for Villanova when they won the championship. So I got a lot of contacts. In other words, I want to bully you, but I got a lot of contacts.
No, you're good.
So anytime you meet, I can help you out as much as I can because that's what it's all about. It's about giving back. And I know, I appreciate you, man. You're energizing me right now. I like the way you handle yourself, you conduct yourself. I think you're going to be just fine. And now oh man, time's flying by already. But anyway, well, we got to be here for like about 15 minutes. Let's talk about the NBA. What teams have surprised you, and what teams have disappointed you?
Oh, that's a good question. I think the team that has surprised the most for me, and probably Eric could say the same thing. Probably the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think for a while when they had Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley and Jared Allen, when they had that core, the point guard Darius Garland, when they had that core, like
Mhm.
they were talented enough, like they could compete, but I don't know if it was coaching. I don't know if it was bench. I don't know. There was something missing because they didn't take it to the next step. Obviously, this year they have. I just didn't. I didn't expect it. Me and Eric, we tried to predict like who the top teams would have been in the league.
Uh-huh.
Uh, and Cavaliers were not in our thoughts. They didn't make it. So that's probably the most surprising team. For me, the most disappointing team, I would probably have to go with the Timberwolves. They made it really far last year. I believe to the Western Conference finals. I could be mistaken, but I believe they made it to the Western Conference finals. Um, this year, I don't know their record 100%, but
I can
I
tell you
believe
right
they're around 500 or under 500.
15 and
Um,
14.
sorry,
15, 15 and 14.
15, 14. Okay, so they're 500, which isn't bad in
Yeah.
the Western Conference right now because they're all it's pretty tight. It's pretty tight around there. But
Yes.
nonetheless, I thought they would have. I thought they would have continued their status quo since last year. I thought they would have been at least top five, or 3 to 6 seed. Um, and especially, I thought too with the trade with Julius Randle going to the Timberwolves for Karl Anthony Towns. Uh, Even though I think Karl Anthony Towns is a better player, I
Hmm.
thought that would have made their roster. I thought they would have still been fine. So I was probably a little surprised and I guess disappointed that they aren't better. But yeah, that's. I mean, and Anthony Edwards is he. Anthony Edwards has a mouth. But he can talk a lot, but he is super talented. So, but I would say those are probably my two teams.
I agree with you to a certain extent. I think the fact that they're making that change when they, like you said, they got so far. I think they should have let it go a little longer. And you got to remember when you got Randall, who's injury prone,
Right.
number one, he's injury prone. And the fact is, what people don't realize is that Randall's left-handed, and the team has to, you know what I mean? They have to change their
Go
whole
based
philosophy
off. Yep.
to check his being left-handed. People don't realize that. But anyway, I agree with. I think expectations would have been high. I think when they got so far, and then to make that change, I'm gonna tell you who I thought one of my biggest disappointments, Sacramento Kings.
Oh, yep.
I thought that they were on that upper echelon, but it seems like they're going down real quick as well. Um, and okay, what player has surprised you the most?
Oh, player.
Yeah, I
Let me
got
think
one.
about that.
No one's gonna like it, but I got one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, Player. Oh well, you know what? I'll go. I'll go home base. I'll go with the Celtic. Payne Pritchard. Payne Pritchard. Uh, to me has surprised me. I didn't think he could elevate his game. Uh, to where mainstream media and NBA analysis are saying that he should be considered sixth man of the year, and you know he's been a great surprise being a Celtics fan. He he he's a good role player. I think we have two dynamic guards with Derek White and Drew Holiday, so like he's not moving up with them.
Right.
But he fits the role where if you need him injury wise or whatever, he can come in and now as a fan, I could say you could trust him. You could trust him being in getting significant minutes. So I'm gonna go with Payne Pritchard. It's been a good surprise, and I think it started with last year's finals after he made a half court shot in one of the games. I forget which game, but he has been a great surprise. He has improved tremendously.
I think because I've been following him since he was in college, I could tell he was going to be a good pro,
Mm.
and then he got got drafted by the correct team, and he fits that system just fine. And because of his energy level that he brings, and he gives 100% every time he steps on the court. And even though I'm not a Celtics fan, I am a Pritchard fan because I love the way he plays. He's grit. He'll go in the paint. He does whatever's after him. You know what I mean? And you know, a lot of NBA ball players when they come in the league, most their first couple of years, they're just getting their feel around the NBA, going to an 82 game schedule, learning about the travel, learning a lot of things. It's a time for readjustment or adjusting to the NBA game. And again, you know what? This is my belief. Players, everybody in the NBA can play. Everybody can play. The worst of the worst is exceptional. The key is the system that y'all put into. If the system fits your game, you're gonna thrive. If it don't, you're not gonna. And then when you're coming up, I'll give you an example. Tyler Kolek, all right, he's from Rhode Island. He went and played at, wouldn't get recruited by Providence. But anyway, he ended up going to Marquette, becoming Big East Player of the Year, first round pick or second round pick of the Knicks. And he fits that style of the Knicks style, you know, rough, aggressive, and he's going to be, a couple of years, he's going to be a force to be dealt with. But Pritchard, in that regard, reminds me of one of them guys. Now see, I'm going to go, you won't know who I'm talking about. But anyway, the people who are watching, who know of old days, he reminds me of a Mark Price, about the same size, same shooter, but he's more aggressive than Mark Price was. But he reminds me of a Mark Price. Mark Price was a bad boy. You should go look at films about him. But
Okay.
I'm going to say something, I'm going to spin the wheel. What I meant by surprise, I thought this individual would probably be like you and me, sitting on the couch or sitting on a chair. I didn't think he'd still be playing, and he's having a hell of a year. That's what I kind of meant.
Okay.
And I think you know where I'm going with this. I know viewers gonna be like, what the? Russell Westbrook. I'm sorry. He is having a hell of a year. I figured gonna play in Denver, of all places, and then to thrive the way he's thriving right now. I'm just very, very, it shocked me. I'm not a Russell Westbrook fan, but I'm just watching him because I'm watching all the videos and all everything. He's playing pretty good. I'm very surprised about him. You know, I'm gonna pick your brain here. How can teams such as, let's say, the Lakers, Golden State, in particular, Philadelphia in a way, when they have three people who make the most money, how can they justify or how can they build? Because you know, when you get to the playoff and the finals, your bench is crucial. It's key.
Yep.
If you pay these guys, most of the teams, three guys, 55 million, 60 million a year, then you got to go over the apron and all that stuff. How can you build a bench? And you know who's done it? The Boston Celtics. I don't know how.
Yep.
Brad Stevens, God bless. I don't know how but I'm telling you, you know how deep their benches, and they managed to do that, even though they're paying Tatum and Brown all their money. It can be done. You just gotta have to know how to do it. And Brad Stevens, big credit to him for being able to put together the team that the Celtics have. I mean, their bench is tough. You can alternate, you can rotate, you can do whatever you want.
Right.
Mix match, and they're still going to be as effective. You know what I mean? They got two of the best defensive players in the league, and I don't like talking about the Celtics too much. But anyway, we've got about 5 minutes. I can talk to you for like 5 hours. Is there anything you want to say before we got to go? Anything you want to talk about? This is too quick. This is one of the quickest.
I know. I can't believe it's.
I'm gonna get you back. You gotta come back on, bro. Is there anything that you want to talk about? We got a few minutes. Anything that maybe you want to convey to the audience, because this is gonna be seen all over. So you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I'll say one thing about the podcast, and I'll come back to
Okay,
the subject we
good.
were talking about. Um, so for the podcast, just want to let everyone know that we have our newest episode is going to be out this Saturday, 6 p.m. It should be 6
Yeah.
p.m. We record, we don't, it's not live, but it'll be uploaded onto YouTube. So make sure you got that in check. So that's the main thing there. And then just with how do you build a bench with the with your cap salary already already being hit. I think the only way for me, and I don't know how many players on the Celtics this would be considered for, but actually drafting players and developing those players
Ah,
and keeping them on your roster. That's my only way. I mean, it's the cheapest way, I would say. And if you do that way, and you actually develop players properly. They don't have to be in your starting lineup. Like you don't have to develop them to, you're gonna develop players to be at their best at whatever they have their skill set. But there's that at their best could be on your bench if you already have a Tatum and a Brown and Drew Holiday, right? So, I think that's how. I mean, Brad Stevens has been, like you said, amazing. And so I would just say that's my only way. Is you have a smart GM who can draft correctly and do that. I don't know. With the Lakers and the Warriors specifically, Lakers. I mean, as a Celtics fan, I don't want to talk about the Lakers. So I don't
right.
but I don't know. That whole LeBron thing, and again, we don't have time to get into Bronny and his son, but
No, no.
like that's a whole situation. They're gonna have to figure out him with the Warriors. I guess with Curry too, they're gonna have to figure that out. So, but long story short, that's what I'd probably have to say for that. I think drafting and yeah, and having a good GM.
I want to pick your brain. We got about a few more minutes left to go, so I'm gonna hit you with a high one.
Let's do it.
Um, you know, okay? I'm gonna get you right now. With your knowledge, you know, it's been widely stated that the NBA viewership has gone down significantly. Hmm. And that's correct. How can they um, improve that? Number one, that's part one. Part two, what is your feelings on the All Star game?
Yeah.
And I told you I'm giving you a two part. Number one, the viewership going down in the NBA, how can the league attempt to try to promote more viewership? Number one, and number two, what about the All Star Game 2025? The ideas that they're going, because the fact that Adam Silver is out of his wits end because he's done everything in his power to try to make the players play hard in the All Star game, and they're not going. You can raise the money, you can do whatever. They don't seem to. Most don't anyway. You got those
Right.
old school guys like LeBron, they'll play, but you got them guys. They're not going. Nothing you can do, and it's just like that's why they had that playing tournament because again to put money in and help the players who obviously don't make that much money, so it's good for them. But
Right.
I mean, so what would you do, Commissioner? I'm like, I'm going to call you Commissioner. What would you do, Commissioner, to maybe try to raise the viewership? And what would you? Or maybe I should be asking the reverse. What would you do? You think to maybe? What is your take on the All Star game? Number one, and what changes would you make? But you really can't tell until after they play. But what do you think about the way the All Star Game 2025 is going to be played?
For sure. Yeah, those are big questions. Actually, we'll be talking about a few of those questions in this latest episode. So, but in short, I think viewership. This kind of comes back to the whole 3-point shot and like what do we do? What is going to happen with the 3-point shot? Do we move it back? Do we? I, again, I don't have a straight answer, but just getting back to, and like you're saying, fundamentals. I don't know, like showing off everyone's skill set, what they can do, because this chucking up threes, um, people. I think people are getting tired of it, and I'm a Celtics fan, and I see it all the time because that's what the coach does. But I think somehow I don't know the answer to how to do this, but some way somehow getting back to a little bit of old school. You're not going to get back to fully old school basketball, but getting a little more physical, getting back to jump shots and turnaround fadeaways, like getting back to those kinds of like more what all these players can do, but it's just the 3 point shot right now is very desirable. So, again, not a straightforward answer, but I would say trying to get back out of the 3 point shot and trying to get more all around game is one. And then the All Star game, yeah, it's the only thing, because it's the format where there's 4 teams, but 3 of the teams is the All Star selections, and then one of the teams is from the Rising Stars game. So again, he's like you said, Adam Silver's trying his best. He's trying all he can do, but really, and I have this man in my heart from ESPN, Stephen A. Smith. He was saying like the thing that needs to happen in the All Star game is effort. That's it. That makes it desirable. Is if they play like regular season, not even playoff, but if they play like a regular season game. How do you do it? I don't know, because the money's been there. Um, all these other incentives have been there. So it's just like, now it's on the players. At this point, it's on the players. And, is it just for money? Is it just for themselves? Or are they going to try to promote the game? That's I think what it comes down to.
Well, unfortunately, we're running out of time, but it's been a pleasure, a joy having you on. And congratulations on your new job, number one. And let the viewers know, again, because I want to promote you and what you're doing, let the viewers know how they can view your shows and anything you got coming up.
Yeah. So Barely Friends podcast, again, spelled like a grizzly bear, Barely Friends. And we're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. Again, we're a NBA / Celtics podcast, but we'll dabble into other sports, other things. We usually are every other week. So the day may change. It's been on a Tuesday, every other Tuesday, but now it may be every other Saturday. So if you look at the Facebook page, you'll get up to date, you'll be updated as soon as possible with all the information. So again, Facebook, YouTube, Barely Friends podcast. Check us out. And again, I just want to say thank you for having me on. It's been awesome being able to talk sports primarily. Yeah, it's been fun.
Well, again, I want to thank you for coming on my show. It's been a blast. You got to come on again with your partner in crime. You're both going to come on. We got to do this again. Definitely.
I'll take him. He's coming next time. Don't worry. I'm going to get him.
We'll definitely keep in touch as well. After the show, I'll hit you up as well. Again, folks, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you, Matt, by the way, for coming on my show. Peace. God bless you. Thank you very much. I'll get back to you. Folks, again, I want to thank you guys for tuning into my show, Sports Corner with the Conn Man on the Sports Wave Network. Stay tuned. We have some great guests coming on next week as well. Again, I want to thank my man, Isaiah, who I happen to text his name wrong. He checked me on it because I didn't put Isaiah the way it's spelled. But he don't know that one of my idols is Isaiah Thomas, who I know he probably don't like. But anyway, that's one of my favorite players of all time. And his name is Isaiah Lord Thomas. So I have to apologize. I went with my boy Isaiah. But anyway, we got that. Yeah, we got that straightened out. All right, folks. Again, I want to thank you guys for tuning in to my show, Sports Corner with the Conn Man on the Sports Wave Network. I want to thank my producer, Key Williams. Without her, I couldn't even do the show. So you guys stay tuned. Take care. God bless. Take care, my man. See you soon.
You as well.